Cult hero Matthew Smith followed up Manic Miner with a seminal platform game, Jet Set Willie, which was ported from the ZX Spectrum to the Commodore 64 by the fantastic Shahid Ahmad. It comes from an age of gaming when games could actually have flaws so serious that they make it impossible to reach the ending, yet people would still enjoy playing them. Jet Set Willie is one of those games. A simple platformer with no other controls to worry about other than running horizontally and jumping on platforms, collecting certain items while avoiding the monsters. Willie is rich from his mining exploits in his previous game and has bought a huge mansion with over 60 rooms, most of which even he has never seen. There's been a massive party and the guests have left the place in a dreadful mess. You see, Willie just wants to go to bed, but his housekeeper, the nightmarish Maria, won't let him until every glass, bottle and piece of rubbish has been picked up and tidied away. I never understood why the henpecked Willie didn't just sack the chloric old windbag. Mind you, I suppose there wouldn't be much of a game if he could just sod the cleaning and head straight to bed. Reminds me of my college days. More game-breaking bugs became pretty infamous. For example, when entering the attic room in the original ZX game, this led to memory corruption, and the game would crash if you then subsequently entered the kitchen. Initially, the publisher claimed that this was a feature, but later released a fix, making Jet Set Willie one of the first commercial games to have a patch produced. The releases of Jet Set Willie for the BBC Micro and the Commodore 64 also contained their own set of bugs, which made it impossible to complete the game because you couldn't reach all of the items in the wine cellar, and the right directional rope jumps like in On the Roof made it almost impossible to judge. These were all patched eventually. Together with Manic Miner, this game influenced many generations of gamers and were probably considered to be landmarks in game development in the 80s, from where many similar games have arisen. I enjoyed listening to the very nostalgic music playing in the background, which was Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata during the title screen. However, the slight difference between the original ZX Spectrum version and the Commodore 64 was music in the main body of the game. For example, the ZX Spectrum had If I Were a Rich Man from the US Broadway musical Fiddler on the Roof, first performed in 1964.
If I were a rich man.
However, for the Commodore 64 port, the music used by George Neophytou was J.S. Bach's Inventions No. 1. This is obviously the music I associate with the game, but I remember when my Specky owner friend came around once to play my C64 version of the game, he was mesmerised by this music. Which one you preferred, I suppose, depended upon which computer you played the game on. Jet Set Willie also came with a form of copy protection from Padlock Systems. A card with 180 coloured codes on it was bundled with the cassette. What was this sorcery? Well, upon loading, one of the codes from the card had to be entered before the game would start. Bearing in mind I was only 4 years old, this proved to be a bit of a challenging task. Although the cassette could be duplicated, a copy of the card was also needed, and at the time, and in the 80s, home colour reproduction was difficult. It had numbers and letters which corresponded with a row of 4 colours. Upon loading the game, you would be presented with a number, and, using the card, had to match the number to 4 colours on screen. For instance, A1 would need you to input blue, purple, green, blue. If the incorrect colours were input, the process would just continue to loop. I was always pretty proud of myself that I could get through this seemingly high-level security back as a kid, but sometimes I'd have to ask the assistance of my older brother. Good times. Jet Set Willie is a very different game to Manic Miner, being much more of a free-roaming adventure where you could move freely between the linking rooms and work out the structure of your massive yet incredibly strange house. In all respects, the creation of all the rooms is exceptional, each with its own peculiarities. Some of them are very hard to solve. With this totally different game structure, you also get very interesting graphics such as the swinging ropes, hopping rabbits, deadly razor blades, wobbling jellies, and endless other creative enemies. So there you have it. You control the top-hatted Willie on his quest through the weird rooms, the beauty of the game being the pure exploration. It's all here. The Nightmare Room, Banyan Tree, Chapel, Kitchen, No Men Looney, Bathroom, and obviously Maria, pointing her finger in Willie's very modest bedroom. As far as I can see, the game is virtually identical to the original Spectrum game. So, fair play to Shahid for the conversion. If you enjoyed Manic Miner, you will definitely enjoy this too. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button and let me know your thoughts. Did you enjoy Jet Set Willie, or did you prefer its prequel, Manic Miner? If you are enjoying the Commodore nostalgia, then please consider subscribing to the channel. There's plenty more games on the playlist that will hopefully bring back some great memories, with more coming up in the next video. Hope to see you there, and until then, bye for now.